Hey everyone, I'm Graham Stinson, and today I want to continue our conversation on pitch design. In last week's segment, we covered spin axis and talked a little bit about how it relates to the way our ball moves. So today I want to talk a little bit about how we quantify the movement created by the spin of the ball. Let's talk shop. I brought the chalkboard out to help explain a little better. Let's start with induced vertical break. For this example, let's assume our pitcher is starting all of his pitches in the middle of the strike zone. The first pitch he throws is going to be our reference point, shown here in black. On most ball tracking technologies, the reference point of 0 inches of induced vertical break and 0 inches of horizontal break represents what that pitch would do if it was thrown in a vacuum or without air. Remember, it's the air interacting with the spin and the seams on the ball that determines how the ball is going to move. Now, the next pitch that our pitcher is throwing is with the air back to normal. He throws a four-seam fastball at the same trajectory as pitch 1, but it results in 15 inches of induced vertical break. That means that even though he threw it at the same trajectory to start, from the same release point, the backspin of the four-seam fastball caused the ball to lift up and resist gravity, ending 15 inches higher than the pitch thrown in a vacuum. For pitch 3, our pitcher is throwing a curveball. It comes out of the same release point at the same trajectory as the previous two pitches, but the curveball is thrown with topspin. So instead of helping the ball resist gravity, the spin instead pushes it closer to the ground, resulting in a pitch with negative 15 inches of induced vertical break. Just by flipping the spin from backspin to front spin, our pitcher was able to create 30 total inches of difference between his fastball and curveball. We'll get into why this is important in a bit. Let's move to the pitcher's point of view and take a look at horizontal break. I've drawn out the strike zone, but I've added an x-axis with horizontal movement and a y-axis with vertical movement, where our vacuum pitch is at 0 and 0. You can see where I've marked our blue and orange pitches at the top and bottom as well. Now, last week when we talked about spin axis, I mentioned that the way the axis moves affects the way that the ball will move. If our pitcher is a lefty and that four-seam fastball is at a 10-30 axis, you might see our blue pitch run over here to the corner at negative 12 horizontal and 15 vertical. Now, if our pitcher was right-handed and his spin axis is at 130, we might see that pitch run over here to the top right corner at 12 horizontal and 15 vertical. Now, what I didn't cover last week was that when the pitch has topspin, like on a curveball, the spin axis is flipped. So when our pitcher is left-handed and throws a curveball, it will have a spin axis closer to 430, where it will likely break down to the right-hand corner at 12 horizontal and negative 15 vertical. But when he is right-handed, that axis will change to be closer to 730, where the movement turns into negative 12 horizontal and negative 15 vertical. I know it's probably confusing and the numbers seem overwhelming, but all it is really doing is quantifying what our eyes can see and what the hitters are telling us. When you play catch, try and start all of your throws at the middle of your partner's chest. Play with your grips, watch your spin axis, throw all of your pitches. If you have ball tracking technology, try and experiment during bullpens. Start everything at your catcher's chest and try to manipulate the ball, using the technology to see how much of a difference your changes are creating. But above all else, read the hitter's swings. Look at where their misses are. Are they underneath the fastballs, resulting in pop-ups? Are they on top of the ball on your sinker, getting more ground balls? All of these things are important because when we can see patterns and know where our pitches play the best in the zone and out of the zone, it allows us to play to our strengths and make it harder for hitters to get solid contact off of us. Thanks, everyone. Tune in to next week's episode on grips. Have a great week.